Hi. I mean, we did make one of the possibly most over-engineered gearbox systems out there, but how to make it remote controlled? Hmm. I don't know. Hmm. Hold on. So we do want. Okay, let's forget this for a moment. Let's just work on something else. So what basically is the goal here? We want to convert, like, what is the, let's find out how what the angle here is. Okay, so this and this. Do I have my, no, of course I don't. Nowhere to see. I used to have a one of those school mathematical triangles with angles and stuff, but cannot find it now. We're gonna have to, approximate. So this is a number 4 connector. Very well. Number 4 connector, we'll stick it on. And we're gonna see how close to 45 degrees this is. Not very. Okay. Not very. So I guess a number 3 connector. Let's see. I'm gonna just hold it here. Okay, number 3 is a bit much. So it's between the number 3 and number 4. Let's see. So if I assume correctly, I think that the number 3 connector is 35 degrees, or something. 35 degrees ish. Okay. So it's more. Okay. And this is exactly in the middle. So it's 40 degrees basically, ish. Yeah. So we're gonna take this as a measure. It needs to be in the middle. But what I wanted to say, so we first need to create a, before we even consider installing anything in the car, we need to first see and create a mechanism that's going to convert 90 degrees into, well, 40-ish degrees. That's the first goal. And then we can move forward. So that in on itself, could be challenging. Could be challenging. So 90 degrees in each direction. And let's take this here. Let's take, well, I guess an axle. Yeah. Well, it depends on the lever, but we'll see. Let's see. Let's take this here. And I'm going to take this here, just so I don't have to worry about it slipping out. Okay. This is one part of it. Okay, so while this is gonna move, something like this, our corresponding fellow here needs to move 90 degrees. That is true, but first we need the levers. First I need to figure out, how much to even do this to, because before we had the clutch that I devised, but that clutch was kind of, it was not quite where we wanted it to be. I mean, let's reproduce it and see where we could improve it, or if we even can improve it. I mean, the clutch was a relatively simple idea, which in theory could work, I guess. But we need to reproduce it without the servo and with well, results that can be reproduced here. Come on, don't be so slow. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use a dark blue, light bluish gray one, because everything here is so black and we don't see anything on it because of the light. Yeah, much better. Lighting conditions are not favorable. But then again, yeah, we can use this. So what we're doing now is just theory, nothing more. Okay, so we have the axle of the servo here. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this here for our indicator of 90 degrees. And then we have this here, of course. Now we have to change this to this one. This here. Yep. So, in theory, this does allow this movement however we want. It's even more than we need. But what happens here? 90 degrees. I fear that when we do this, so we have 90 degrees here. It's a dead insect. It's not gonna bite me. Yeah, so when we do this, we discover that, let me lock this in place. So this is now 90 degrees. And this is what we end up with. And it's more than we need. It is, come on. Yeah, it's more than 45 degrees. Okay, it's more than 45 degrees, and this is too much. This is too much. So we need to figure out either we discover a way to reduce these. Maybe we could use the bars, but I am a bit afraid that the bars are going to be a bit weak. They could be a bit weak. So that instead of these, we use bars. We're gonna test this setup in the car, of course. But first we need to see if, now this is not going down as much. But is it enough? Or too much still? Yeah, now it is 45 degrees, which is still too much. And that's the problem. It's still too much. So now what we can do is modify this guy here. What could we do here? One option would be that we would use this here. I'm basically adding this here, just so that we have the degree marker. And if we put in now this, maybe yes, that is okay. But I still have my reservations, so we're gonna install this in the car together with this here. and we're gonna see what actually happens. I am afraid that's probably gonna be too much force, but let's see. Let me find you a comfortable viewing position. Okay. Okay, we're even in focus. Okay, very good. Yes, but we need a longer axle here. We need a 7-stud axle. We're gonna see about the exact implementation of this in the car, but now first we need to test our theory. Come on. Okay. Our theory is, will this have enough power? Oh, look at that. Holy shit. It does have enough power. Let's not waste this opportunity. I'm sorry. And see what this means if we couple it to our servo. I'm just experimenting. This is just an experiment. I have no idea how we're gonna implement this yet. I just want to see what happens. Okay. This is not even properly secured. I just want to see the forces that happen. This is black. Okay. So we want to see some shifting happening. Shifting is happening flawlessly. Very good. Very good. So basically what we need to do now is transfer the lever here to somewhere here and place the servo somewhere here. I mean, theoretically, theoretically, this is what we would want to do. Okay. I mean, it has no problem shifting. Everything works fine. Okay. And it does not need a lot of force. If you've seen, this is not really. It's secured just with one pin, and it worked flawlessly. Of course, this is partially also because of the design of the gearbox, which is improved, and everything requires a lot less force than before. This is also a point. But yeah, it cannot be, as Ben has said, it cannot be here. Absolutely not. The servo needs to be hidden somewhere, preferably in here, and then we need some sort of leverage, I guess, that goes in here. Let me just check something. I need to undo this here. So what we could do is we could place the servo in here and use very simple knob gears to transfer the power to here. Depending on the slack in the knob gears, we could go away with, instead of having these here, we could have axles, depending on the slack, if we go that route. So, you know, because the servo is kind of unwieldy here, it takes up, you know, a bit too much space, I think. No, I mean, not I think. It takes too much space. Takes up too much space. And if it was actually here, or, you know, I don't know, somewhere here, and then knob gears to there, yeah, this could work. Emphasis on could. And then we would have, you know, we would have the clutch here. Of course, it would be, the clutch would be here. It would be here. Then we would have this guy here. You know, here. Just bear with me. And then just a lever to here. Ideally, of course, I would have a lever going through the gearbox, so it wouldn't take up space here on the side. But that's very optimistic, I think. Because then we don't have any option to realistically couple it here. Or do we? Or do we? Because this guy here could be a little higher up. It could be here. And here we could go through this and have the lever on the other side. And the lever then would go through here. Would this work? Would this work? I don't know. Do I have some parts to try it? So ideally, we would have the lever going here somewhere to here on the inside here. The only thing we would need to do is basically redesign this part here so that it wouldn't be here, so that this part here would be one step lower, and then our guy here could come and basically shift front and back. Like so. Problem is, of course, you know, obviously this, but problem is also the steering. Because now, see, when going to the front, steering is in the way. I mean, there's a workaround that could help. Just a second. I have some. Yes. If okay, it's a little bit more. I thought we could make the same trick that we pulled with the gearbox with the shifting. But I'm wondering, what if we don't need to get rid of this? Let's get the gearbox out and let's try something. I mean, we know that we have enough room here, so this is not going to be the problem. Yeah, this axle isn't going to be a problem either. Or is it? Ah. If I would disconnect this, then things would go easier. So we want basically the axle to be here. Okay? In an ideal world, we can get rid of this part here. We can make it shorter so that we gain some room here. We can cut it off here. Ah, this one is okay. Yeah, that's the special piece. We can work around this. So that we gain the space here, and we probably don't even need that. Oh, do we? No, I don't think so. I don't think we do need that because we can. Come on. I need to sort my desk again. Yeah, obviously. I mean, the part is probably on the desk, but I can't find it. So what if we would shove this in here? Yeah, we can't because of this. But okay. So if we had our clutch here. Theoretically. Come on. This would be. I need an aid to help me guide this inside here. There we go. Perfect. So this would be our work clutch. Where is it? Where is it? Come on. I just put the part down on the desk. Holy crap. There it is. Okay. So if this was our part here, it cannot be, yeah, that's the problem. It cannot be here because if we put something permanently in here, then we cannot remove the gearbox. So we have to have whatever we put in here, it needs to be removable. Otherwise, it's never gonna get past the bulkhead. You know, the bulkhead is gonna be here, or no, here. Yeah. So it needs to, you know, slide past the bulkhead. If it's sticking out, it cannot. So, you know, this has now several requirements. Yeah, the clutch is going to be here. This kind of deal I'm going to have. But let's first see the validity of the lever here. If, you know, if this even has a future. Second, like the link enabling the drive motors. And then we would have it in the back. Okay, that's actually not the worst idea. Not the worst idea. So if, yeah, okay, Ben has a point. Ben has a point. I have no idea how to do the link yet, but let's say where would we package the servo? Where would we package the servo? That's the question. There is no room inside here. There is no room inside here. The only room would be, I don't know, somewhere here. Put a whole clutch thing, and yeah. So we would have the long link going along the gearbox. It would be part of the gearbox, so there would be nothing inside the body. Everything would be this here. Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely a possibility. Just we need to think of how to do it. You know, you remember we had one of the ideas that we had before also was to have the stuff of the gearbox, so the servo behind the bulkhead. That was one of the ideas as well. Yeah, that's the question. How far back does the servo sit? That is the question. The $1 million question. Because so if you remember from way back, one of the ideas was to have the servo stuff somewhere here on the side of the so behind the bulkhead, but on the side of the gearbox. This is interesting, but ultimately I think this is so much hassle when you're putting the gearbox in and out. We could have it here on the, you know, like literally here is the end of the car, like, you know, almost, but you know, we could have it here. And then we just have to figure out a way to route the levers to this point. Yeah. I mean, since we are not gonna make a trunk anyway, we could go with this. You know, this can easily be here somewhere. You know. Yeah. And I mean, the more weight there is on the rear axle, the better it is actually. So now that there's some weight of the gearbox on there, and you know, in the future with all the bodywork, it's not gonna be too bad, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so let's figure this out. Hypothetically, first, we need to come here. So if we do this, we have to go like with it here, with a lever from here to here, and there's a lot of room here, but in reality we have the shaft of the Hand of God steering here, so this is tricky territory. I think that, I mean, theoretically we could make them work, but at the moment, you know, they are an afterthought. Maybe we do them in the front if necessary, but this is gonna be decided, you know, when the car is at its final weight and we see, you know, what if it's necessary. Right now, I am absolutely not thinking about enter bars at this point. Yeah, so where is the number 6? Okay, we have to come up to here with something. Obviously this is gonna have to go, but what we can do here is I think a static option, which means that we would have more or less what's the distance here? Yeah, okay, let's do this first. And then so we have to get rid of this L term, otherwise we're not gonna be able to do this. this has to go. We need to figure out another way of supporting this part here. I mean, this was still the best option, like it or not. Come on, really. Always the same problems. Okay, we don't need this one. Okay, we certainly don't need this one. However, okay, so before anyone has some weird reactions to what I'm gonna do now, this is just an experiment. I am just experimenting, so no need to be too emotional about it. Okay, yeah. So we do need to redesign this part here. It is very much in the way of things. Man, there's so many mosquitoes here. My bald head is itching the whole time. Okay, for now I'm gonna just use this there. Maybe in the end this is gonna be even better. This. This, I guess. Is this, no, this is gonna be enough? No. Really? No, let's see. Probably. No. I mean, no, but it's very weak. I mean, but for our purposes now, it's gonna be fine. Since we just need to test this. Test this. One, two, three, four. Yeah, I mean, fuck the steering at the moment. We're just testing. No matter what I do here, it's not gonna work with the steering. But Yeah, that's just perfect. Well, actually, this isn't gonna work this way anyway. Because reasons. So if I take this as an example, or better, I'm going to take this as an example. This there. Oh, simulating what would happen with a lift arm here. Okay, I'm surprised that there is actually enough clearance here. Okay, color me surprised, but is there gonna be okay, immediately the problem. See, there's not enough leverage. There's only enough leverage if we attach this directly. If not, this needs to be more. Okay, so it needs to be basically 3 studs. 3 studs. Okay, let's see what this means. I don't like this. It's kind of binding up. Oh my god, okay. Let's theoretically test this like this. Okay. Okay. We have collision here. Okay, that's understandable. Okay. The problem is we cannot go further here. Even this is kind of problematic because we're gonna have a hard time fitting this through the gap here. I mean, theoretically, we could reverse this. I don't like this. This is so far removed from the source. theoretically just. Whoa, okay. It is not a happy gearbox. Let me tell you that. Not a happy gearbox. I mean, to be honest with you, this sucks, of course, but this or if we did the knob gear labyrinth here to route it back here. I mean, you know, we'll never know if we don't try it. That's unfortunate, of course. because this makes inserting the gearbox in the car a lot harder. We'll see. Sorry, I can't see anything. What did we do here before? Because, you know, I just want to test it. Testing purposes only. Basically, what I'm interested in is if the shifting effort is gonna be, you know, too much or whatever. Let's see. Just this short piece. You know, I'm gonna support it a little bit. No way. No way in hell is this ever gonna work. Yeah. No. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to do something with the passenger seat. It's gonna have to be compromised. Because I do not see any shifting action going on if this isn't directly connected to this. If our friend here is not directly connected to this, no way. If it is, no problem. Then shifting is simple, no issues. But as soon as we try levers and stuff, we are in trouble. And at this point, I would rather compromise the passenger seat a little bit than shifting. And you see, this already is problematic when coming here. So no. This is giving us trouble. If we didn't have the long shifting lever here, which we still can redesign, then this would work. Yeah. If we had a removable shifting lever and put it in at the last minute, we could, easily maneuver this in. So let's do that. Let's think of a shifting lever that would allow us to do this. What the fuck is this? I saw right here. Ah, here it is. So theoretically, this would be our shifting lever. This is what we need. Yeah. This would be our shifting lever, and then we can, attach whatever we want as an axle on it. Do I have yellow ones? I don't. Do I have all of this in at least dark bluish gray? Maybe. Unfortunately, I don't think I have this one. Oh! Holy shit. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, man. First of all, I want to avoid gears because gears mean we need to adjust things, and things are difficult to adjust for people. The gearbox is then never gonna work properly, and the 24 tooth gears are not 3 studs high, so they will automatically be a problem below. But if you mean these gears, there's a problem because we can do 90 degrees on each side once. We don't have a servo who would be able to do 90 degrees, 90 degrees, another 90 degrees. That would be perfect. Then we would not need the sequential. Then we could tap in directly here. Just connect servo here, and servo is gonna do the 90-degree increments, no problem. But we don't. Servo constantly gets into the neutral position, so we have to tap in here. Sadly. Two-end stepper. What is a 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 Do you have a picture of a 2N stepper? While I am changing this, so I need to change this anyway. So for simple ease of installation in the future, so I wanted to do this long before. Yeah, no problem. I'm not going anywhere. Ah. All right. Cannot have nice things. Second stepper mechanism. You would add a second stepper mechanism. How? Okay. By the way, before I forget, and keep in mind, I am absolutely not being paid for this, but if you want to play a very cool game, uh, in cyberpunkish style with a cat, get the game Stray. I have just finished it and it's amazing. I absolutely love it and will probably replay it in the future. Okay, Ben, just a second. I just need to fill this rubber band here. Okay. Very good. Okay. So now we are short enough here that it's gonna fit through, and then we can add an axle with something on it. Yeah, I mean, but still, I don't know what you are proposing here. Yeah, we can add knob gears here and go through the bulkhead, but then what? Yeah, it's absolutely an amazing game. Ah, there we go. See, so much easier. If there's no, if this is not there, so much easier to insert here. Very good. And now we can add, um, a gear lever there. I don't know. Something like this. Like, it can be red or whatever. Yeah. Then I build. Then I just need to build another stepper driven by the servo. Yeah. Or I can have this in front of the seat, or under the seat. Ish. But then again, every time the gearbox comes out, this needs to go out. Let's see. What if I move this by hand to to simulate a second stepper? Okay. Yeah. We can move this by hand, no problem. Problem is, if we had a second stepper, both steppers would feel each other, I guess. Well, in the second stepper, we don't need springs. That's true. But still, I don't like this. I mean, if we connect this directly, it's best. We can perhaps make this whole thing one stud smaller. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, I do need at least another rubber band. I don't need the spring, but I do need this here. Yeah. But I do need to get out of the bulkhead, which is problematic because there's absolutely no way everything here is already packed with gears. You know. I mean, theoretically, okay? Theoretically, there would be an option to have a knob gear here that would be in the car. This would be in the car, but the knob gear itself would be mounted to the car. And we would have a similar mechanism than we have for the decoupling of the steering. We would have this guy here running through the knob gear, but the problem is that this is pretty stiff. Knob gears are pretty stiff, and you know the idea would be that the knob gear would slide so much so that the knob gear would stay in the car and the gearbox would be taken away. So the knob gear would be in here like that. It would then be the axle would be inserted by two studs, and theoretically, you know, this would work, I guess. Theoretically. But then, of course, since we have knob gears, we do need to go like this, and then we need another. So we need to go like this. Then we go 90 degrees, and we need to go another 90 degrees. Otherwise, we are not gonna get the servo at 90 degrees. Then we're gonna have 45 degrees. You know, this is 90 degrees. This is then gonna be 45 degrees, and then we need another knob gear to come back to it. Or you know, we can have one, yeah, next to it. Yeah, that would also be an option that we would have knob gear, and then this one would be at 90 degrees. That would be an option. But then we still need a whole ratchet mechanism behind this. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there is a solution for this, probably. Hmm. 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 I mean, let's think a bit out of the box. In the most extreme case, what we also could do, you know, we can place this guy here, I think. No, here. No, I mean we would need an axle hole here, which we don't have. If we place it here, and I guess we will need this guy. No. Wait. Yeah, we would need a hole here. Basically, yeah, a hole here if we wanted to use another gear here, and then route it out here. You know? Or do some sort of shenanigans with it. Because right now, if we place an axle through here, we can only do a 12 tooth gear here. 12 tooth here. But then we are not really doing anything with this. If we at 12, 8, sorry, okay, 8 tooth. No. If we did this, for example. But then still, we would need to have this axle here removable so that we can remove the gearbox. Making this removable isn't rocket science or anything, but if we do make this removable, what can we do with it? So we need to convert back to 8 tooth, which we could. Yeah. So we would have another 8 tooth here, and then this 8 tooth would be driven by this guy here on the other side of the bulkhead. And theoretically, we would not need to adjust anything. So we could get away with gears. Yeah. Making this a sliding axle would not be problematic because the 8 tooth gears are, this joke. But yeah, we could have an 8 tooth gear here, and then this guy here. And then this guy here would be driven by a ratchet mechanism. this. And here we would, since we know that we need a small angle, maybe we could design a ratchet mechanism that fits directly 90-degree movements. God damn it. This is getting so complicated. What can you do now? What can you do? Yeah. This could be the ticket. Now the only question is, so we can get out of this, no problem, but we just need to then find a way to do the ratchet mechanism. So the ratchet mechanism would then be, I don't know, like this, maybe, because I'm gonna have difficulty fitting this in here. And it needs to be very, very small. And it needs to do this when this does 90 degrees. I don't know. Because what we have here is taking up a lot of space. If you take a look at it, it is taking up a lot of space and width, which I don't think we have. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 studs, 8 with this here. 8 studs in width. Oh, that's I mean, 8 studs. It's very, very ambitious. Very ambitious. 8 studs in width. It's doable. It's doable, but it needs 90 degree. 90 degree. I mean, ideally, the servo would be on the gear like this, but then we have really width problems because we have to drive the clutch here. The clutch that drives whatever is directly on this, and then it is doable. It is doable. It is doable. We can do something here. We're complicating things, but yeah, it is doable. And thanks to the fact that we don't need to fight the resistance of this spring here, there is actually not a lot of force in the system. That's the second part. So we are just this is not requiring a lot of force to turn. What is requiring a lot of force is resisting the spring here. I mean, not a lot, but the axial force is bigger. So, yeah. This is a possibility. This actually isn't a problem installing. That is not gonna be something we're gonna lose too much sleep. But the rest. The rest. How to make this smaller? Because this works ideally, and the other ratchet mechanism should not be less reliable than this, but it should be smaller. It should be smaller, specifically because we don't have unlimited amount of space here, because we already have all of this here, and if we are 8 studs into it. This is 7, but I'm not counting this part here. I mean, let's install this before we end the stream and see what we can do. So we need to be careful here. What we actually want is ease of removal and everything. So we want we want just one stud of movement of the axle that needs to be removed out of the everything. Problem is, if we use this connector here, this is very unreliable. Maybe the connector itself is gonna go with it. So what do we do? What do we do here? Very good question. If we want just one stud of movement, that's the problem. If we are able to do it with 2 studs, that's not a problem. 2 studs are perfectly doable. But 1 stud, that's the tricky part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we are going to support it here, and then we can have a connector. Yeah. Yeah, so we need to move it 2 studs. That's also a problem. Oh, it's doable. It is doable. Yeah, it is doable. Okay. Okay. We need a support. We need a support here. Come on. Oh. Oh my god. So obviously the support is not a big deal. Not a big deal. We're gonna have it in just a second. Yeah, more parts. Should be. Yes. Hey Tim. Ah. Okay. No, wait. If I'm doing this, I can do this. This better. Okay. Yes. So now when we slide this thing here, we stop. Another one will stop in and out. See, everything stays within. Very good. And there's not out force required, much less than in the front. But we need to do 1, 2 studs of movement, which with levers should be doable. And then we are gonna have on this axle here, we're gonna have, of course, this guy here. Let's put this into the car and see what I mean, so that you have a understanding of what we're doing here. And while I'm at it, I can delete this here, because this is now finally unnecessary. Okay. Okay, so we install this into the car. Bring it closer. Okay. Focus. Focus. Not here. Here. Focus here. Here. Please. Pretty please. Focus. Come on. Thank you. Okay. So now we have this axle here that is being pulled out by a lever behind the seat. And then we have this axle is going to be driven by this here. And this here already has the ratchet mechanism on it. So imagine that we have the you know, the whatever they are. Oh, sorry. We have these on, and then this gear is already then being actuated by the servo. So if we imagine that this is on the bulkhead here, we can then imagine where the servo needs to be. Okay, let's remove this. The servo needs to be somewhere here. Literally. You see how much it is looking out of the car. That's one of the problems. If we omit this and have it here, then it fits. But then nothing else fits. So we would have to have it like this. Like this. And then we would have to, still it would, even here, you see, even here, it's a tight fit, especially because of the rear tire. Having any sort of mechanism here is gonna be tight, pretty tight. There are options, but we need to be careful what to do. We need to be careful what to do. I mean, when we have done it, it's gonna be extremely satisfying. But just like everything here, now that it's done and it works, all of the mechanisms here, are if you ask me, pretty satisfying. But yeah, more work required. Being eaten alive here by insects. Um, yeah. Yeah, I will think about this until tomorrow. Maybe if anybody here has some ideas how to do a second ratchet mechanism here, that would you know, propel this forward. Let me know. This is all perfectly doable, but we need to be smart. We don't have unlimited space. We need to make a smart mechanism, which I think is doable. It is doable. It is doable. How we are going to see. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. My brain is melting slowly because in this room, even though the outside temperatures are not that high, I'm sitting directly in front of the computer, which is radiating heat into me. The door, the window is, well, it's ajar. It, I don't know what the English word is. Um, it's angled, just so that I don't suffocate here. Uh, but yeah, the room is slowly heating up, and I am sweating and being eaten by bugs. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I think we are getting somewhere with this gearbox. And yeah, I see you tomorrow.